everyone, to the 21st Vegan Convergence of the Peoples. I'm a Climate Healers MC, Rebecca Allen, and I'm so pleased to introduce to you Unredacted Comic Relief, Lee Camp. He's a comedian, an author, a producer, a podcaster, a journalist, and you can see Lee's live stream 4 days a week on Rumble. Lee was the head writer and host of a national TV show, Redacted Tonight with Lee Camp on RT America. He's a former contributor to the Onion and a former staff writer to the Huffington Post, and he has a very popular web series called Moment of Clarity. He's toured the world with his fierce brand of comedy, so let's give it up for Lee Camp.
Hello. Thank you, Rebecca. Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for being here. Hello, everybody. Thanks for being here, and thanks for just giving a shit. How about that? Round of applause for that. Oh, yeah, and I should mention, I'm going to mention this up top. There will be some salty language in the next half hour, so if you can't handle that, or you have kids in the room, if you have kids in the room, just like lock them in a nearby closet, or you can stuff cigarette butts in their ears. I find that works well with my 3-year-old. So whatever you got to do. Okay. For this first story, you'll understand why I'm bringing it up in a few seconds. So just assume I have a point. The other day I was traveling and I realized how insanely we act when we're alone in a hotel room. Pretty much everyone's been through this. You treat it like a disposable single-use bedroom, right? You're eating fried chicken in bed. You're taking a shower with the shower curtain just wherever, just water going everywhere like a dolphin show at SeaWorld. You're using 7 towels for some reason, leaving the desk drawers just askew and open even after you take a dump in them. We all do it, okay? We've all been there. And we all basically behave the same when we're alone in a hotel room because we know we don't have to clean it up. It's a consequence-free environment. But weirdly, that's also how we treat planet Earth. We do that. We're just shitting all over it. Using everything for no reason, just 7 towels, doesn't matter. We're just like, oh yeah, the maids will handle it. The maids will get the polycarbonate plastics out of the rivers and bring back the buffalo and nurse the spotted owl back to health. That's what it says on the side of their van. They got it covered. Give them a good tip if you see them, okay? When I'm arguing with people about climate crisis, it's amazing the arguments you'll get back, right? I'm sure you've all experienced this. Like the mental gymnastics they have to go through to try to either ignore or justify having the entire planet live like we're on a bender that will just never end. I was talking to one guy, and I got done going through, the facts. 99.9% of all peer-reviewed academic articles show man-made climate change exists, and the planet is heating up, and the green areas are turning to brown areas, and the oceans are turning all like just yucky, and hundreds of millions of people have already had their lives upended by climate crisis. And I get done, and his response, it was interesting. His response was, yeah, he just made the noise that the shampoo bottle makes when you're trying to get the last drops out. Just that was his rebuttal. And I was like, I think you're empty. If is your argument, I think humans are screwed. And luckily, because our government is super smart, that's their official stance as well. During Biden, Obama, Trump, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Okay, it's all the same. Their response, their stance. That's it. We're like, okay, good call. Glad you got a plan at least. I recently figured out how our government thinks for any matter, really. It doesn't matter who's in the Oval Office. I figured out how they do their thinking. And I figured it out from my dishwasher. Just hear me out on this. This next part may change your life. I saw a tweet or an X or whatever that blew my mind. Okay. It said, anything is dishwasher safe if you don't care about it. I used to spend hours just eyeing dishes up and down, postulating, contemplating, consulting the UPS guy. Hey, you got a minute? What do you think this is made out of? Like, what do you think? Do you think this would be safe? Now, I just put everything in the dishwasher. I mean, ceramics, plastics, homemade pottery, electronics, that child I adopted because I needed an unpaid intern. Dishwasher for all. If it breaks while it's in there, I'll get another. Okay? No biggie. But it gets even better. And I'm gonna blow your mind right now, okay? I'm gonna totally blow you right now. Here it is. The dishwasher for all creed works for all kinds of things in life. Any piece of clothing is washing machine safe. If you don't care about it, goodbye dry cleaner, right? Everything is tax deductible if you don't care about getting it right. Yeah, that bonobo at the zoo that they made me pay for because you break it, you buy it, deductible. Next up, every parenting choice is correct. If you don't care how your toddler turns out, yeah, sure, you can have a family-sized bag of Reese's Cups right before bed, little man. Sure, you can go to preschool wearing nothing but a cape, my angel. Sure, you can drive. I'm a little tipsy anyway. Thank goodness you came along when you did, Timothy, my adorable DD. Oh, who's daddy's little DD? Do you get it now? This dishwasher safe belief system has changed everything for me. Here's the thing. I'm pretty sure this is how the US government actually functions for most or all of their decisions. Like, all our infrastructure is working perfectly if you don't care about the people actually using it. Our public schools have plenty of funding if you don't care whether your kids grow up to stack dishes at a Pizza Hut that used to be an Olive Garden that used to be an abortion clinic. All our wars are a great idea if you don't care about the people on the other end of the bombs. Our healthcare system is working perfectly if you don't care about the Americans selling an organ on the black market to pay for another organ they need more. Always trade up in the organ game, kids, okay? That's an important lesson. Trade up. Thank you, public school. And finally, climate crisis is not a crisis if you don't care about landslides or grandkids. Yeah, it's fine. Grab an umbrella and some fire retardant, kiddos, because Gramps wants a second mistress and she doesn't come cheap. More Chevron stock it is. Yeah, turns out I can sell your future for a pretty penny. Let me know if you see any healthy trees around, okay? I'll send a guy to grab those up. Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. Changed my life. Anyway, I'm just saying, the greed in this country is insane. It's insane. Maybe it's just, this next part, it bothers me to even think it, but maybe it's just because humans are the worst. We're kind of the worst. Do you ever just let yourself have the shittiest thoughts? Just go into a really dark place, just really fucked up thoughts, and just kind of poke around, see what happens. Just as an experiment. See if squirrels jump out or bees sting you. See if it changes you as a person. And you got to switch all the bumper stickers on your car and wear different sweaters. Here's an example. It's just a thought experiment, okay? I spend most of my days analyzing what's going on in the world and kind of trying to warn people about how shit's fucked up. That's what I do. I do it 5 hours. 5 hours of live streams every week. And if you were to sum them all up in one sentence, everything I talk about, it would be, don't you see? That's it. That's the whole thing. Just, hey, everybody, don't you fucking see? We gotta fix this or we're screwed. That's it. That's all I'm doing. I work tirelessly just doing that. I work harder than a coal miner trying to dig out after a collapse. It's like I'm trapped in a collapse of bullshit and I'm trying to dig everybody out. And sometimes and I know I'm not the only one that's like that. Sometimes when I'm feeling down, one of my darker thoughts, where I just like to poke around, see what's going on there. One of my darker thoughts is maybe we aren't worth saving. I look around at all the assholes and douche nozzles and prickheads and shit monsters. Maybe we gotta go. Maybe we'd be better if we just packed up and headed out, left the planet. But then that comes with all of its other problems. See, here's where I hyperanalyze, Could you imagine if every human were told to pack up, we had to leave? That would be a mess. It would. Just that one poor lady going, you only get to bring 5 things to everybody. 5 things. That's it. There's a limited amount of space on the spaceship. I know it's an ironic name, but there's not that much space on it, okay? Every human in response would be like, but I have 7 things. I have to have my slippers that look like alligator stuffed animals. You don't understand what they mean to me. They don't count as 2 things. They count as 1 thing, okay? Slippers. I want to speak to your manager. That'd be every human. Okay, well, that would not be every human, okay? There would be, like, people in, Burundi would be like, I only have 3 things in my life. I own 3 things. Where am I going to find 2 more things? I don't know what, I don't know what this accent is either. I've lived in Burundi my whole life. This is how I talk. I don't know why. Okay, I will admit, though, that last punchline, that was kind of a standard comedian joke, right? Make fun of Burundi for being poor. But here's where I differ from other comedians. I will now acknowledge that part of the reason Burundi is poor is because of the crazy colonizer exploitation perpetrated by the UK and the US and other Western nations who are pieces of garbage. And it depends on how we define the word poor, right? If we define it as a monetary wealth, then yeah, Burundi is poor. If we define it as, family and life and the natural world and the connection to fellow humans, then Burundi might be rich as shit, okay? But you can't walk into a bank and go, in lieu of money, I would like to pay off my loan with human connection. Would you like a hug? Can't do it. Point is, most comedians would have left it at the first part, but, I don't do that. Most comedians would have left it, they're poor. Let's all laugh at their poorness. Anyway, where was I? Oh, yes. What if maybe humans aren't worth saving? It's just a thought experiment for a second. The dinosaurs were around 160 million years, and they didn't fuck up the planet. Meanwhile, sophisticated humans with, the kind with the haircuts and cloth over our junk have been on the planet for like 12 minutes. Relatively speaking, we just got here. And we've wrecked everything. The air isn't the right color. The turtles are all gooey. The birds are fly in the wrong direction because they have plastics in their brains. And the only remaining rhinos and pandas live in prisons where you go to see them with your kids. We fucked it up. It might be time for us to just leave. Just get out. Just go. If we took a vote of the animals, I feel like that would be their response. Yeah, just go. And the most upsetting part of this is if all 8 billion of us are gonna be here shitting all over everything, we should at least be doing something important, right? With this time, something amazing, something incredible. Like, if there were one guy who worked at your office, and every day he came in and he just took a dump in the middle of the office, just right on the floor, and he wasn't fired. They kept him there. You would assume that guy must be a genius. Like, they let him shit in the middle of the office. He must be brilliant in order to keep him around. So if we humans are going to be here wrecking the planet, then we should do something awe-inspiring with the time. We should earn it. But we so aren't. It's about 9 of us are doing something special. I'd say 9. There's about 9 humans on this planet really making jaw-dropping scientific discoveries or saving hundreds of lives or inventing a new sexual position. 9. 9 humans are doing something amazing. The rest of us are just like, I don't know. Well, I pumped out 2 more people. And now they're wandering around wondering what the hell they're supposed to be doing. So there's that. One of them got a little plastic trophy in his 3rd grade swimming race. He's 27 now, but he did get that trophy. Nobody's doing a damn thing. Maybe it's time for us to leave. Keep in mind, I'm not saying that's true. I'm just saying think about it for a minute, okay? Think about what makes humans great. What makes us worth saving? Many people think that what makes humans truly great is our ability to think, right? Just think about all the things we can think about. It's pretty incredible. It is. It's a lot. Like here's a short list. Not exhaustive. Just a few. You can think I may later want a donut, and then you put a donut in the bag, and then later you want a donut, and you already have the donut in the bag. Yeah, you can just think that. That's pretty cool, right? What else? Albert Einstein just thought up relativity. He just thought it up. It's incredible. Amazing. That's all. It's that's not as cool as the donut, but it's still cool. It's still cool. Let's see. You can think about how terrible idea it is to have sex with your best friend's boyfriend, and then you can think of ways to convince yourself that it's fine. And totally not a big deal. I bet they want me to have sex with their boyfriend. You can just think of that and then have no moral qualms while you're doing it. And then later, when you're running naked away from your friend as they swing a lacrosse stick at you, you can also think, I wish I'd thought this out a little more. We can think all of those things. Point is, humankind's ability to think is truly impressive. But it's not the main thing that makes our brain great. The true genius of our minds is actually what we're able to avoid thinking about. Think about everything we don't notice every second of every day. Assuming you're sitting in a chair right now, you aren't noticing the chair rubbing against the hair on your leg. You aren't thinking about the slight air movement across your arm. Until I mention it right now, you also aren't thinking about ancient Rome, or shoelaces, or Chuck E. Cheese, or that time Britney Spears shaved her head, or that time your mother accidentally revealed that your aunt had an abortion during your niece's piano recital. I don't mean she had the abortion at the piano recital. I mean your mom revealed it during the recital. That'd be pretty screwed up if she had it at a piano recital. That's just weird. That's also a pretty niche medical practice right there. Get your abortion while you enjoy a little girl's piano recital. I don't think they'd have a lot of takers really for that. Anyway, that's weird you guys brought that up. So anyway, back to thinking about all the things you aren't thinking about. You also aren't thinking about all kinds of stuff that is actively going on around you and inside of you, like bacteria crawling on you, the mites that literally live on your face. Yes, there are mites living on the face of every human, and you never even feel them. I'm not kidding. Seriously. Okay, now you're thinking about the mites on your face. Now you are. But and now you probably can't stop thinking about the mites on your face. But you shouldn't worry, because they're always there. You can't like wash them off or something. So they're always there. For some of you, that helped. For most of you, I probably just made it worse. Anyway, the brilliance of our brain is that it weeds out all of this stuff and just picks like a select few things to think about, to pay attention to. If you were to notice everything, it would be madness. You would just be on the floor in a ball, unable to function, just crying and speaking in tongues and drooling drowning your face mites in anxiety drool. It would be awful. So yes, our brains are spectacular at ignoring things, and it's necessary, but it has a drawback, a major drawback, which is possibly killing us all. We humans can go through life ignoring gigantic things that we need to pay attention to, like health problems or your own narcissism or the fact you have a deep anger towards your father that only comes out when you're watching football games for some reason. Yeah, you beat the hell out of them. Yeah, you beat them so bad and you see how their dad likes it. What? What did I say? I didn't say anything about dad. I didn't say dad. Anyway, we as a species are amazing at ignoring incredibly significant things in our lives. Hence, climate crisis, ignoring climate change. Our neighbors could be on fire. And people like probably didn't water his lawn. You know, I told him he should water his lawn. It's just never listen to me. But a big piece of it is that we ignore that we're part of nature. We are nature. It's not a separate thing, one unit, no separation. When the environment dies, we die. When the environment thrives, we thrive. And we spend our lives mostly not noticing this, completely oblivious. Think about how connected we are to the natural world. We couldn't exist for 1 second without it. You could kill someone quicker by taking them out of their earthly environment than by chopping off their head. If you were dropped in the vacuum of space, you would freeze into a solid rock in like 0.0001 seconds. You wouldn't even have time to get a scream out or yell, "Tell my story." No, it would just be tits. That'd be it. That's how long you'd live outside of our natural Earth world. And while you're freezing, apparently you'd also be boiling because the water in your body would instantly boil because of the change in pressure. So you take us out of the natural world and right away we become a freezing, boiling bag of stinky flesh garbage. So you'd basically be what Donald Trump is all of the time. That's how important the environment is to us. Saying anything, like saying anything, just think of something, a tomato. Saying a tomato is still a tomato, even if there were no environment and no planet Earth around it, is just ludicrous. There can be no magic space tomato that's not a thing. It would be like asking what a fart would be like if there were no human to rip it and no one to smell it. It would just be a foul-smelling ball of gas out in the universe, floating alone. Just a self-created, immaculate conception fart cloud that one day condenses into a fart star and then becomes a beautiful fart nebula. None of this makes sense. It doesn't. You see? Similarly, each of us, you, me, everyone, we are nothing without our environment that created us. So our environment is as connected to a human's existence as our fucking heads. And yet we don't act like that at all. If someone were walking around chopping off heads, we would get upset. We would ask them to stop. But people go around chopping up our environment all the time, and we reward them. We make them billionaires. Most of us go our whole lives looking at humans as a thing and then the natural world as this other thing. You know, it's humans over here and then everything else over here, just octopuses and dogs and cats and butterflies and hippos and mushrooms and flowers and platypus and bacteria and mosquitoes. They're all over here. And then humans over here. That's how we act. And we could just take all that other stuff and do whatever the hell we want with it. Eat it, drink it, pollute it, cut it down, wear it. Just wear it as a jacket. It doesn't matter because we're special. We're humans. We're the best. No, we're parasites eating our environment until it's dead, chopping off our own heads. Even the way we talk about destroying our world is backwards. Like, we call any construction progress. Doesn't matter what we're constructing, right? We just go, that's adding to gross domestic product. We are progressing as a society. This Starbucks is progress. This Gold's Gym is progress. This fucking dollar store is progress. No, it's not. That dollar store is where meth heads buy bleach. It's not progress. Nothing is progressing. Most of the stuff we build, in order to build it, we knocked down a forest, gutted a landscape, paved over a family of butterflies, ruined a creek where the fish used to swim happily and do fish stuff. I don't know. I don't study fish much, but and we act like it's all progress. Think about it. An ecosystem for turtles is paved over to build a parking lot for a dollar store so a mother can come in and her little girl can pick out a plastic doll made out of toxic crap that was put together by a child her own age in Bangladesh. And the girl takes it home and then sucks on it for 2 weeks straight, decreasing her IQ by 14 points because the doll is called like Super Mercury Girl or something. And we called all of that progress, advancement. We did it. We win. It's a bold future. Our thoughts are so turned around that our destruction of our environment, which is destruction of us, is viewed as progress. And when we actually progress as a species by tearing down a prison or stopping an oil pipeline or removing a building in order to leave the land free to grow and live, we call that destruction. This is just one of the ways we literally have turned our existence inside out. Destruction is called progress. Debt is called growth. In Ukraine, keeping the war going is called peace, meaning war is now peace. Theft from another country, stealing their resources, is cooperation. Exploiting others is market freedom, which means economically enslaving others is freedom. Unprovoked attack now literally means heavily provoked attack. Rigged fake elections are called democracy. In Gaza, genocide is called justice or security. And 100 millionaire throwing a ball through a hoop is called important news. It's fucking unhinged, except for the Golden State Warriors. They're kind of important, but all the others don't matter. I'm going to wrap this up now, but the point being, we've turned our brains inside out. We think a lot of things are the opposite of how they really are. In a lot of areas of our world, we're in a mental prison. Our brains are enslaved to false ideas. That's the most efficient kind of slavery, by the way, where the people are walking around going, I'm free. I'm so free. I'm the freest. Like, look, I can do this or this, and just I can go to yoga. I can go to yoga whenever I want. I'm just totally free. And I'm not insulting yoga. I just think that is a damn good slave, because a person is never going to try to escape. I'm convinced that as long as you let people do yoga, again, not insulting yoga, that they'll think they're free. That the other 23 hours of the day, you could have them chained to a wall, covered in slime mold. It's 110 degrees. They have nothing to do but stare at a brick just all the time. They're chained up next to Kid Rock. Just the worst existence you could ever imagine. But they get to go to yoga. And then I think they'd still think they were free. I go to yoga every day. Me and Kid Rock are yoga buddies. Real freedom, and true change is going to come from a revolution in here, which I'm glad you guys are part of. I hope to teach that to my kid one day. That he's 3 right now. And if I can only get through him a couple of things, it will be, 1, that we need a revolution of the mind. And 2, that if a stranger offers you drugs, just say no. Unless you want some drugs, and then say yes, so you can get the drugs you want. That's my time. I hope you enjoyed it. And real quick, if you liked my comedy, please check out, I have brought back my show, Redacted Tonight, except now it's called Unredacted Tonight. It's totally free. It's totally independent. It's called Unredacted Tonight, and you can get it at leecamp.com/unredacted or go to linktree.com/leecamp. Thanks, and keep fighting.
Thank you. That was fabulous. That was just right on. Thank you.